Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at mrdirk.com.
Happy Saturday night to you, folks, and welcome to Got Your Back. Ryan Rishaug from TSN, fresh out of the Oilers locker room after a solid home ice victory. Stu Skinner, rock solid in this one, and you know that had to feel good for Stu, beating Binnington in the Blues, Doug Armstrong and company. Jason Strudwick standing by. Rob Brown will join us in a little bit. As always, our show is brought to you by our title sponsor, Play Alberta, the official gaming partner of all the major Alberta teams. Whoever you cheer for, Play Alberta is cheering you on. Bet on your favorites, get in on odds boosts, and make game time more interesting. Deposit today and get a $50 free bet with the code GYB12. That is code GYB12. Visit playalberta.ca. I am safely parked while I'm doing our reads, but coming at you from our mobile adrenaline diesel studio, Edmonton's premier heavy-duty diesel truck repair shop, specializing in powertrain tuning, performance, and parts sales as well. Visit adrenalinediesel.ca. Steve Taylor is manning the controls back in Kelowna, and Jason Strudwick checking in from his home office. Struddy, did you ever have a homecoming? Did you ever, any returns for you that meant more than others of the various teams you played for? What was it like going back for you? Which one stood out the most, pal?
Well, the biggest one was when I went back to play against Vancouver as a Blackhawk. And I remember I was so nervous. I got the puck and I looked up and I saw my the guy had been my partner for a while, Ed Jonoski. I passed it right on his tape, on his tape.
No, you didn't.
And I was like, oh my God. And came back to the bench. I can't remember who the D coach was. He's like, are you done? I'm like, I'm done. Like I'm good now. So, like watching these guys tonight, Broberg and Holloway, and I'm very, very, very sympathetic to Broberg because it's tough. It's really, really tough. That the first game. After that, it's like, okay, whatever, let's go. But I don't know. I always thought that after that, I was played for different teams. It didn't matter. But that one was tough. That was a really tough one.
Was it a tape-to-tape pass, or did you put it into his skates?
Well, no, I was known and widely acknowledged as a really good passer, so I got it right on his tape, like it was right in there.
Just like old times, Jovo. Just like old times,
like, He was shocked. I came up from around the net and passed it right on his tape. He was on the blue line. And that was a tough one.
Fantastic.
Oh, it was awful.
We got to go back and find video of that. That game tape has to exist somewhere. We got to be able to find that.
So bad.
Well, listen, Oiler fan, good job, I guess we'll say. Like, you certainly made themselves heard tonight, didn't they, Struddy? Every time Holloway and Broberg touched that puck. And I'm not going to say you caused Philip Broberg to turn that puck over, but certainly were in his ears, if not his head tonight.
Well, you know what? I was wondering what the response would be. And I remember thinking about when Pronger was always getting booed, right? And he obviously is and will always probably be better than both those guys. But, I think there's some hurt there. And so you're pissed off. But also, you want them here. Like, you'd love to have those two guys still on the team. They both look great. They're skating well. They're big.
Oh.
Like there's so much to love about those two guys.
Okay, yeah.
And so, I think so. There is hurt, and then you're sour that they're not on your team, and I don't blame them. I don't blame anyone for anything. I don't blame the fans for booing. I don't blame those guys for leaving. It's just this is the situation it is, and unfortunately for the Oilers, they have to move on because those two players have moved on and have bigger roles and are doing much better where they're at than they were last year with the Oilers.
Yeah, Dylan Holloway was just buzzing late in that game after the goal. Yeah. That is what Dylan Holloway looks like when he's got the injection of confidence. The coach believes in him, pats him on the shoulder and gets him out there a lot. That's That player with his energy and his size and speed is missed in this lineup big time. But that is obvious. So, Struds, we got a game to break down, brought to you by our good friends at the Alberta Ram Dealers, Struddy.
Yep, the Drive at Home holiday event is here. Get up to $13,600 in total discounts on a 2024 Ram 1500 DT Laramie Crew Cab. See your local Ram dealer today.
And, you know, we do have the voice of the fan on the show here with us. So, Steve, you can hop in here as we kind of wrap up or add to our thoughts on Holloway and Broberg. I mean, you love the team, Steve. You're a big fan. I'm sure you felt some pain when they left. What did you make as a fan of the way the rest of the fans greeted them?
Yeah, I thought it was perfect. I think, you know, the misconception out there is that fans are mad at these two guys. And I think, I can't speak for all fans, but I know for me, you know, I still really like these guys. I'd be happy to go for a beer with them, but I don't, you know, you boo them. That's what you do when they come back, right? They made a choice that was an easy decision for them that probably anyone else would have made. But they made it, and they come back, and what do you do as a fan? You boo those players, and that you know, makes you feel like an extra player on the ice. And like you said, Schauger, maybe it helped a little bit tonight.
There were a couple of guys, at least maybe within earshot of me, that were putting in extra effort on that front too. They kept it going right through the entire game. Struds, setting that aside, where do you want to start on what you thought of tonight's game and maybe what impressed you or stood out to you the most?
Stu Skinner. That's to me is the story, the headline. There were other players with good games, but Stu Skinner tonight, he really set a high standard for himself. Had to make huge saves, especially early in that third period. You're sitting in the dressing room. This is what happens, and the guys are like, okay, you know, let's expect to push, right? We got to get through the first 5 minutes, first 10 minutes. And then if we get through that, we're going to win this game. Well, St. Louis did. They came out and a hard push the whole time. And then they ended up getting one. But Stu had to make some huge saves. You know, there was a couple like on the back door, the one-timer. Like he was very, very impressive tonight. Loved his game. But what I liked about it, it was a quiet one. You know, I think when he's trying to do too much and he's all over the ice, it's just complicated. He was just in the right place. The puck hits him. That is very calming for his teammates.
Struds, well, let's discuss Skinner a little bit more here, but I want to hear from him, and then I want to hear from Chris Knobloch as well. So let's get Struddy to our Weiss Johnson soundbox, buddy.
Yeah, the Weiss Johnson soundbox. Hold on, let me get this up here.
Sorry, I kind of sprung that early on you.
Yeah, no, I got get your home holiday ready with Weiss Johnson. With any new furnace installed before Christmas, they're offering free duct cleaning. Whether your old furnace has given up or you're just looking to upgrade for a cozier holiday, they've got you covered, and your ducts too. Visit weissjohnson.com for more details. Hit it.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
So we all know the storyline for Stuart Skinner coming into this game. Left off Team Canada. Jordan Binnington, who was chosen down at the other end. Doug Armstrong, part of the selection committee, you know, obviously with the St. Louis Blues. And so you have to think this one feels pretty good for Skinner. So, Steve-O, let's run Skinner. And then right after that, we've got back-to-back comments from Chris Knobloch on Stuart Skinner. So here's a whole bunch of Stu Skinner content.
Hey, Schauger, just before I do, I've actually got two Skinner clips. I've got him on Team Canada and then on him beating the Blues as well. Do you want me to play both of those?
Yeah,
all right.
Just run it all, man. Let's hear all of it. It's the story, as Struddy said. Thanks.
Here's all the Skinner content you can handle. Here we go.
I mean, more so just cared about getting the 2 points tonight. It's, you know, there's nothing that I'm happy that I beat Benner, obviously, because we won the game. But, you know, he beat me out in the spot for a reason. He's a hell of a goalie. So, yeah, you just kind of see it for what it is. Didn't get picked, and that's all right. It gives me an opportunity to keep on working harder. It gives me an opportunity for a little bit of rest. And, you know, there is a blessing in disguise, which, you know, I get to be a father to a newborn baby for a little while. You know, when I had Bo, I didn't have that chance. I kind of left right away. So it'll be nice to help out my wife with that phase. So, yeah, it was a little weird. Holloway, he has so much speed too, and he got a couple good chances. Heck of a player. Broby had a couple good 1-2s. It's you know, it was definitely interesting seeing their face, and kind of pretending that you got to be mean, but inside you kind of just want to crack a smile. But yeah, they played a heck of a game. Really good players, obviously really good friends to me. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was fun to play them. I'm happy that we beat them, but yeah, it was a little weird.
And here's Knobloch on Skinner.
Yes, he's been outstanding. And you look at the games that we've won, and he's been, and picks too. Our goaltender's been usually better than the goalie that's been lined up on the other side. And tonight I thought he played extremely well. We're going in the third period without giving up a goal. A lot of that had to do with the way he played, making some really big saves, especially in the first period. In the third period, we got a little loose, giving up way too many chances, especially early in the period. But he's been playing really well.
He's one of those guys you talked about the other day. Obviously, didn't make Team Canada. He talked a little bit about that tonight. How do you think Stu will process and manage that? And what's the right way for him to, maybe move forward with that and harness it a bit?
I don't know, maybe something that was holding him back a little bit was just trying to, getting off to a slow start and then putting so much pressure on himself to just stop everything and make up for the last game. And then when you're trying to make up for the past, it just puts more pressure on you. It makes it more difficult to play the game, and you don't play as well as you should. And now, I think he was able to put it behind himself and move on before the announcement was saying, and just kind of focus on playing his game. And last 2 or 3 weeks he's been phenomenal.
Struds, what did you make of that last answer from Knobloch, suggesting that maybe it's been holding them back a little bit? And then he got into some detail there about how the mindset maybe has gotten in his way a little bit.
Yeah, I really like that, and I think he's probably onto something. You want something so badly, and you're trying so hard, and then you start trying even harder and harder. And kind of like my opening comments there is that you're constantly trying to do too much, but in reality, just do your job. Just do what you need to do. You don't have to be, you can't have 110% save percentage. You know what I mean? Like you just be there and be present. So I look at this situation for Stu Skinner, and I've said this before. This was never expected for him to be a starting goalie at this point. They signed a guy, 3 summers ago or 2 summers ago, whatever it was, to be the starter. He was pushed into a situation where he's all of a sudden the starter, and he wasn't ready for it, right? He was now maybe talently wise he was, but mentality he wasn't, or just, and most people aren't. So he's gone through ups and downs as a regular season starter. He's gone through them as a playoff starter, and you think back to Vancouver last year when they went with Pickard instead of him, then came back with him later on. He had a great close that series out. But now the wrong word is a threat, but the looming opportunity to be a starter or a player for Team Canada is a huge thing. And maybe he didn't know how to handle that. Well, now he does. That's another thing he's been through. So, there's a few Oilers fans that aren't fans of his. This guy is developing in front of you. This is what happens with goalies, unless you're super elite like Henrik Lundqvist. So I think this is a big step forward for him to, again, learn how to deal with another situation. The mental part of the game is bigger for goalies than it is for skaters.
I think about, his first run through in the playoffs, Struds, and there were definitely some significant bumps there, right?
Yeah.
And then the next time around, he'd clearly adjusted. It wasn't all perfect, but he definitely steeled himself in a different way the second time around, and ends up in Game 7 of a Stanley Cup final. Keep in mind, next year is going to be very similar. From the start of the season, all summer long, and from the start of the season, he's going to be in a similar situation. He will be in the mix for the Olympic team, because that's just where Canada's depth is at. So my point here, Struds, he's going to get another crack at this exact same thing.
And that's a really good point. So right away he gets an opportunity to use the skills he's learned mentally, from this chunk of time. What has it been? 3 months, Shock, or whatever. And then he'll flip that into next year. So he grows. And I think everyone just wants a finished goalie. Grant Fuhr was the greatest goalie of all time. He was really good. But Grant had to figure things out on the way as well, and that's what That's what people do. That's the evolution of humanity or of a human. So Stu Skinner, sure, he's had his off days. There's no doubt about it. But I think, keep in mind, he was never supposed to be this guy. He was supposed to be the backup. Campbell, even now, was supposed to be the starter still. And he was never the starter. Never. He never. Is this the third year of his contract, or this would be the third or fourth year right now? I can't remember. But anyways.
You talking about Stu?
No, Campbell. What has been his third year of his deal?
I think this would have been the fourth year.
Okay, so
maybe I'm wrong on that. Yeah.
Maybe by now he might have been, but just think, like, it's crazy how much he's had to grow and develop and accelerate his development to offset the mistake that was signing Jack Campbell.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, another storyline tonight was Troy Stecher, who had a bit of an adventure. We'll go back to the Weiss Johnson soundbox because it was funny. The way I phrased the question to Stecher, I kind of said, like, hey, maybe take us through the emotions you go through when you take a penalty like that, put your team down 5-on-3, and you're probably nervous, and then all of a sudden you get back out on the ice and you end up scoring the goal. Like, had to be a bit of a roller coaster, hey? Stecher was like, yeah, no, here he is.
Just maybe take us through the ups and downs emotionally for you through that.
I don't go through ups and downs. I'm pretty even keel. I don't know. Obviously, it was a penalty, so they called it, and didn't like the timing of it and the situation. 3-1 put us down, 2 guys, and thankfully, Eki's penalty just expired, so I got out of the box and thought my night might be over, and Coughlin me back out there and just slung under the net, and good things happen when you put pucks on net. So, like I said, I'm pretty even keel. So
really, so the heart rate never went up at all through any of that? You're pretty just steady.
Yeah, I don't know if you can tell by the way I play.
Oh, so to take all that, like, I guess he's pretty even keel.
That's a tough penalty to take, man. You're killing a penalty, and you take down an opposing player in the middle of the neutral zone as a defender. That's a really tough one because there's no threat there, right? There's no threat level of danger of the guy getting a breakaway or anything. It's just a penalty. You're like, I wasn't thinking. So that's a tough one. I'm glad that Coffey put him back out there, and he's able, and he showed, confidence in him that, hey, you're going to bounce back. And he goes and gets that goal, which was a pretty tough one from Binghamton, but tough penalty to take that. Like for a D-man, a similar one would be a forward taking a tripping penalty in the offensive zone below the other team's goal line. Like it actually might even be worse because at least then you have a chance of getting someone there's no one around you. It's just like, what happened there? So, and they get stung on it. So, those are oftentimes what happens with those types of plays.
We got Rob Brown checking in.
We got Rob Brown.
Yeah, we got Brownie checking in now. Brownie, we'll talk about Skinner a little bit more in a little bit here, but we're just moving on to Stecher and that sequence. I'm not sure if you heard his post-game comments, but what'd you make of the penalty and then and pretty big for him to get that goal?
It was. Honestly, I thought the penalty might have been a little soft. It was a little cross-check, but don't put yourself in a position to allow the ref to make a call. But you see way worse going on. That was a tough one to take because now it's a 5-on-3, and they get dinged on it. They allowed the St. Louis Blues back in the hockey game, and St. Louis was the better team by far in the third period. They had numerous chances. And then for him to score the goal, you saw how excited he was. That was excitement of scoring my first goal for the Oilers, the importance of the goal for the Oilers, but also it was like, okay, I just got that back, what I just gave away. So good on him. But it's one of those things you tell your players, put pucks on net. You'll never get in trouble for putting a puck on net, but that is a horrible goal to give up. When your team has fought back, you've got yourself back in the game, and then that's the goal your goalie gives up. That was not a good goal by Binnington.
Yeah, 100%. Brownie, we'll circle back on Stu Skinner here because you're just joining us right now. Struddy felt strongly he was kind of the story and the headline tonight. What do you think, man? Like with everything he's been through over the last few days, to step up with a performance like that, it feels like it's yet another example of Skinner dealing with a bit of adversity and learning and being impressive.
I thought he was excellent. He's on a really nice run right now, and in the Brownie points, I'll talk about him. But it's the last 9-10 games he's played, he's had one off game. That's it. Everything else has been excellent. And this Oiler team, when they're firing on all cylinders with their special teams, with their top players playing like they're capable of playing, if they get good goaltending, they are a very, very tough out. And that's what we saw last year on their run in the second half of the season. That's what we saw in the playoffs. And right now, not only Skinner, but Pickard as well, they are playing very good. Skinner tonight was excellent, made saves when he needed to. There were a couple times in the third period where St. Louis had the tying goal on their stick, and Skinner played well. So Stuart Skinner is, I think, right back where they need him to be. And that is a good sign as the Oilers go forward and try to continue to move up in the standings.
For sure. Hey, Struds, I'm just getting home here, buddy, so I'm going to let you two finish off this segment. Still lots to break down as far as the game goes, and we can do that in takeaways. But why don't you guys get Relentless and our De Boer's poll, and then I'll check back in a few minutes here, pal.
Okay, buddy. Talk to you in a minute. Let's get to Relentless Player, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services, an Edmonton charity that is relentless in providing possibility for the youth in our community. Mental health is a foundation for growth and success and the key to thriving, not just surviving. With 2 in-house counselors providing free therapy sessions, our youth have support while they can navigate their struggles and rediscover their strength. Visit ucan.ca to donate today. So I'm going to take, so when I try to pick the Relentless Player, I sometimes try to go off the board. Like the other night I did one, Ty Emberson, with the minutes he was played, and I thought that was a good one. But I tried various names on the page. I could not get away from Stu Skinner. And I know we've hyped him up a lot, but he had an excellent game today. And both Brownie and I said the same thing. The first chunk of the third period, he was the first, second, and third star in that time. He was so good in really key moments. So Brownie, I mean, Stu Skinner, if you have someone else, I'm all ears. But tonight I feel pretty strongly it's Sir Stuart.
Well, it's funny, in a game where both Connor and Leon had a golden assist and were dancing on the ice, the best player for the Oilers was Stuart Skinner. He was, and I said that with Bryn after the game. He's just continuing a nice stretch right now. He looks confident. He's coming out of in his net, and if there's a big scramble, he's not flailing all over the place. He's just calm in there, and that's when Stuart Skinner's at his best. He's a very calming influence. And tonight, I don't know if they get the 2 points if Skinner isn't as good as he was in the third period, because he was excellent. So that's a good call.
Yeah, I think that one is probably pretty unanimous across, and you can chime in on their YouTube channel to let us know what you think. And let's do that now. The YouTube poll brought to you by De Boer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center, helping you play better golf since 1999 with their TrackMan fitting baits, instruction, and after-sales support, golf merchandise, and clothing. Go down and check out their pro shop style atmosphere located at 5311 99th Street in Edmonton. Where are you taking us on this one there, Scuba Steve?
All right. So we're asking about turnarounds. There's been some good turnaround stories lately with the Oilers, and the question is, which turnaround has been most impactful? So the 3 options that we're giving are Skinner's game, Nurse's game, or the penalty kill. Those are the 3.
Yeah, that's an interesting. Which one turnaround has been more impactful? Skinner, the goalie, Nurse, the D-man, or the penalty kill, which someone on this podcast probably overhypes up. What do you got, Brownie?
Well, to me, it's simple, because it's all, if you don't have goaltending, you don't win hockey games. Now, Nurse is having a fantastic start to the year, and some of the blocks he made tonight on the 5-on-3, good on him. The penalty killing wins the Oilers hockey games and has been excellent for a long stretch right now. But you don't win in the National Hockey League without goaltending. And Stuart Skinner has flipped it around right now. One of the big reasons the Oilers are winning is they're getting quality goaltending each and every night. So to me, it's the play of Stuart Skinner over the last 10 games, 12 games. He flipped the switch, and the Edmonton Oilers are winning games.
Yeah, that's a good one. It is really. I think I'm guessing that one will do quite well. I'll go with the PK. I just think the PK, when you have that many guys involved in it and they get their confidence going, right? The Nuges of the world, the Janmarks, Ty Emberson. I think he's got a lot of his confidence from or through doing the PK. Even the goalies, I think though you have to be feeling good about yourself before, but I think they also draw confidence when you shut it down like that. So I think the PK is one, but I guess quickly, Brownie, if you had to look at what are the next couple pieces you think have to fall in place as far as if we did this poll again in a month, who would you like to put on there as someone who has turned it around?
Well, I think it's second line scoring. I think the Oilers' first line is good. I think that the line, Jeff Skinner has played a lot better as of late, playing with Adam Henrique. That line is contributing. You've got Corey Perry scoring again. He got 5-6 goals on the season. He's on your fourth line, so it's doing it. But you're still not getting production out of your second line. You're not. You've got Podkolzin's got 3 goals in 3 games. He had them, but those are the only 3 goals on the season. Kapanen, he had 1 goal playing with Connor, none with Leon. Arvidsson wasn't scoring. They need production out of their second line. So the next time we do this poll, I hope that we're saying that has been the biggest change.
Yeah. And getting Arvidsson back and healthy, I think, is a big one. Okay, let's take a pause here. When we come back, Shaw will jump back in. I think he's having some chips and dip in between here, these segments. And we'll get to takeaways, Brownie Point, and Struddy's World next on the show.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at sequelandentistry.com.
I think, during the regular season, you can get.
Hey, there we go. Welcome back to the show, folks. Time now for our takeaways, brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. Don't miss out on the 0 for 60 sale happening now at their 13 Alberta locations. They have 0% financing for 60 months on John Deere compact utility tractors, Gator side-by-sides, and select lawnmowers. Check out the full lineup of in-stock inventory online, horizonagturf.com. Stop into your local Horizon Ag and Turf dealership today. Okay, gents, lots more to talk about from that hockey game. Corey Perry with a really nice goal. A really nice feed from Darnell Nurse. That was impressive. I liked that one, Struds in particular. It was a confident play from Nurse at the blue line, and a solid goal from a depth player there. That really was a big one.
It was a big one, and Brownie made the point about the depth scoring has been pretty decent here for this group here. And it's funny, Corey Perry just finds a way to contribute. He's not going to win a foot race. I'd love to see him and Adam Fox race. They probably both get delay of game penalties. Adam Fox is still one of the top D-men in the league. I don't know that Perry's quite in that same conversation for forwards, but he just finds a way to contribute. And, so you look at him, he's finding a way to contribute. You got a guy like Stecher, find a way to contribute. Ty Emerson, find a way to contribute. These are some of the guys that were either, smaller bit players last year and or brought in and asked to do some. Paul Colson, find a way to contribute. So, I think that the guy that they're probably missing the most now, find a way to contribute, would be Arvidsson, but he's not playing. And I think Skinner, the shooter or the skater. So I like that those guys are finding a way. I don't want to call them role players, but find a way to contribute. Brownie, that's huge for a team.
It is huge. What's that? 5-6 goals on the year for Corey Perry that's playing on your fourth line. That's big. I don't know if you guys noticed though. I mean, there's a couple bonehead plays by St. Louis tonight. The penalty by Faxa running over Skinner to give the Oilers a 3-goal lead. Yeah. That's just stupid. That's dumb. Yeah. And the other one on the goal that Corey Perry scored, St. Louis Blues only had 4 guys on the ice. Their bench was screaming, too many, and they yelled at Colton Parayko, who's the right D-man, who was standing in front of the net. They yelled at him to leave the ice. He was in front of the net and skated to the bench and dove onto the bench. And then Corey Perry went to the bench. He was to the net. He was by himself and scored. Like, they only had 4 guys on the ice for a good 7 seconds. Good on Darnell Nurse reading the play. And that was a fantastic shot pass that he made. But then you saw the hands of Corey Perry. And you're right, Struds. Corey Perry, he's not going to beat anyone in a race anymore. But if you give him the puck within 5 feet of the net, he knows what to do with it. And that was not an easy tip. That was a well-placed tip and a huge goal for Corey Perry and the Oilers.
So that was a turning point shift in my eyes for Leon Draisaitl. And here's why. There were a couple of times in that game where Leon got super frustrated. Brownie, did you catch it up there? And I think he was frustrated with the way a couple of things had happened with his line mates and such. And there was twice that were really notable to me. One time he even slammed his stick on the boards before heading in to the bench. So he was clearly frustrated. That next shift, he came out onto the ice, skated into the offensive zone. We never see Draisaitl do this. He slammed his stick on the ice like, give me the puck. Like, he commanded the puck, like, no choice, just give it to him. And then he made a really nice play back to Nurse, who then ended up scoring the goal. So some frustration from Draisaitl, went out there, give me the damn puck, got it, made a play, and then I thought he was much better for the rest of the night outside early in the third period there. But did you notice that frustration, Brownie?
I did, and you saw it too, because he took a couple runs at St. Louis players. He ran Broberg once. And that was frustration. He's frustrated at something that's happening with his team, so he took it out on someone on the other team. But here's what you like. When a player gets frustrated, there's 2 ways to approach it. You get frustrated, you get bitchy, you go sit on the bench and pout, or you get frustrated and you get angry and you say, give me the puck now. Let me do what I do, and you just get out of my way. And that's what we saw Leon do tonight. And we've seen Connor do that, too, in games where he just picks the puck and said, hell with everyone else. I'm just going to go end-to-end by myself. So great players have that ability. But, yeah, he looked frustrated, but then he put his anger in the right direction. And because of that, the Oilers benefited with another nice night by Leon Draisaitl.
Struds, what did you think of Draisaitl on that front?
Yeah, no, I think that, we've all seen him play for long enough that he does have a high standard for himself and for his line mates. He wants to help contribute and help score. So to see those types of moments is not a big surprise. But what I want from him is him to just park it. Like, so after tonight, okay, move on. Let's start again the next game, right? I believe they'll have the day off. What is it tomorrow? Yeah. Sunday, and then probably practice Monday, game Tuesday. So just move on, not let it kind of drift, because we have seen it in the past where it's kind of stayed with him. And then I think it becomes, it lingers. I don't think that's healthy for him, the individual player or leader on this team.
Colin Williams chiming in on the stream says, Nurse Bouchard greater than Parayko, as well as Skinner greater than Binnington. Not gassing up as a homer. I think it's pretty obvious. So Colin with some strong thoughts there. Neil Garrity, Draisaitl is the second best player in the world. He can do whatever the hell he wants. So, yeah, he's definitely earned himself just a little bit of wiggle room. I would agree with you there, Neil, for sure. Really like the McDavid setup as well. I'm just trying to think. So there was a McDavid goal, but then there was the Hyman power play goal. That was the one. How about that feed, McDavid? As they had the zone, and he made a pass, Struds, that I think he was the only one in the building that knew, okay, you're going to go all the way across the ice to that guy that's wide open. Yeah. I thought his first pass over to Draisaitl at the far point was so nice.
On his backhand, too, through the guy's feet. So if you didn't see it, he kind of went through the middle of the ice and was skating up towards the blue line. You can see him looking around for someone to pass to, and he's like, "Oh, there he is!" Just hammers a backhander like right across the ice, right on the guy's tape, to someone's feet.
Ridiculous.
Like, it was crazy. Then he gets the puck back, and then he attacks downhill and passes under a defender's stick onto the back door where Hyman is just waiting there and taps in one of his favorite 6-inch birdie putts. So, he had it going on tonight. His passing was great. And he's really feeling it right now. And obviously his point totals, because what is he like? Is he like 6-7 points behind the leader in points? Whereas a few months or a month and a half ago, he was way behind him.
Yep. Brownie, what'd you think of that play?
Have you not noticed? Well, I mean, it's funny. He made the fantastic play to Hyman, but the play of the shift was the backhand to Leon. I mean, that was, and what he did when he took it backhand all the way to Leon, he expanded the penalty killers, because now Leon's all the way over. Now they got to go over there. So when Leon comes back to Connor, now there's open space. So that was a wonderful play by Connor. But I don't know if you guys noticed that Connor and Leon are now the 2020 versions of the Sedin twins. You know, the Sedin twins, without looking, they always knew where each other was. No one else was on the ice, just the two of them. And they would pass, like that was a backhand pass cross ice to Leon. They play give and go. They just twist and turn all over the ice on the power play when they're out there. They know where each other is at all times, and it's fun to watch. And it's absolutely impossible to defend. When they're on their game, it's just a matter of, is your goalie going to make that incredible save or not? Because we can't defend them. They are going to get a grade A scoring chance. I just hope my goaltender's up for it. Because right now, Connor and Leon are playing at the level that we've seen them at when they're at their best, and it's fun to watch.
Another 22 minutes, 17 seconds of ice time for Darnell Nurse. Picked up an assist, was +2. Led the team with 4 hits and 2 block shots, and important ones. His game continues to build, continues to grow. This version of Darnell Nurse, this is so huge for the Oilers that his game is where it is right now. Back to the Weiss Johnson soundbox. Here's Darnell Nurse post-game on his game.
I think confidence is high. I'm playing in my mind closer to the capabilities I'm capable of doing each and every night, and that's now it's just about consistency and doing it every night. I think coming into this year, that was one thing. I wanted to be more consistent and play to my capabilities and the way I can each night, and it's been good so far, but long season to go.
What's allowed? I don't know, Brownie. It feels like, I don't know, it's kind of a chicken and egg thing. Maybe when he played better, the weight came off a little bit of his shoulders, or maybe he chilled out a little bit and then started to play better. I don't know which came first, but he definitely seems more chilled out and more relaxed and just kind of simple and like he's having fun playing out there.
Well, I think the best word you used was simple. He just simplified his game. He's making simple plays, and he's reading the game better too. He's understanding he doesn't have to be the guy lugging the puck, carrying it all up the ice. Get in quickly into the hands of one of the forwards, and then be the third or fourth guy coming up and being the late guy. Or if there's a turnover, jump. Use his speed. So I think he's reading the plays better, and the coaching staff's appreciating it because we get the sheets afterwards, all the games. A lot of nights he's leading the Oilers defense in time on ice because they understand his importance and they're riding him. You talked about block shots. The one-timer on the 5-on-3. I mean, you got to be brave to do that, and he does it time and time again. There's so much of what Darnell's game that has been underappreciated, but right now you're seeing the Darnell Nurse that signed the long-term deal that had everyone excited at the time. He's playing as good as he's been, And that gives the Oilers two solid pairings that you feel pretty confident when they're on the ice. So if Nurse continues to play this way, that bodes very well for the Oilers going forward.
As I was watching the game tonight, you know what? I was thinking of Darnell. I wasn't sure if you'd bring him up, Schauger, but it feels like it's a low event. His shifts are low event, right? Mm-hmm. And I that's not a negative thing. You know, even offensively, like there's not a lot of goals being scored for or against when he's on the ice. Now I know he's got a few and stuff like that, but like it just looks pretty calm. And I always go back to that pairing of Bouwmeester Parayko when they won their Stanley Cup with St. Louis. Those guys, that's kind of what they did. They just 8 minutes up, played against other teams' top players, and kind of low event it, right? And that's a positive thing. Just keep it clean. And to steal Brownie's word, simple, not world, just word.
Hey, you're the only one with your own world on this show, buddy. Struddy's world coming up in just a little bit. Really like the fact that Darnell Nurse took it upon him to throw 4 hits tonight. One of 6 Oilers who decided it would be a good idea to try and throw a body check tonight. So 1/3 of the players on the roster thought it was a good idea to throw a body check tonight, and Darnell Nurse threw 4 of them. So good on him. That was Takeaways, brought to you by Horizon Egg and Turf. Lots of show ahead, including Struddy's World, Brownie Points, Core Blue Liners, Take a Lap, Ask Us Anything. Quick break. We'll be right back.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused solutions and financial guidance for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
Time now for Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. They got locations in Calgary and Edmonton. Whether you're a homeowner, a contractor, or a builder, you know DLR is the most reliable source for vinyl fence. Unmatched service, high-quality North American-made products. Visit DLRvinylproducts.ca. Pretty solid chirp came in over the break there, gentlemen. Fast Show, who I have not seen on the stream before, says this crew needs a paid trip to Turkey. That being a solid, firm shot at all of our hairlines. The reason I bring this up is because I got chirped. We were doing the Ray and Dregs hockey pod the other day, and Dregs chirped me and said I should look into Turkey. And I actually did, guys. I spent a little bit of time while they were taping the pod looking into the treatment that they have available over in Turkey. It might be an option. I looked pretty deeply into it. I don't know if you've ever thought of anything, Struds, but I actually looked at it and somewhat was kind of intrigued.
Yeah, I don't think that I'm probably a good candidate. Like there wouldn't be much to do, but I did look up at the whole thing, and I think I the first time I got my hair cut by a friend of mine named Mo. He said, you know, me and my buddies are thinking about going to Turkey. I'm like, why? And he's like, this is why. And so I found websites and I looked it up too. It is interesting because it's like you just go there. It's like someone getting a hip done in Mexico. You just fly in, they get it, they pick you up, get it all done. You wear, whatever, a hairnet for a little while, then you come home and it's done. Like you don't have to think at all.
Yeah, so, suddenly we're Tom Gazzola, right?
Yeah, but taller, obviously. I mean, they're not. I'm not 5'9".
They don't shrink you while you're over there.
Yeah.
Not My Name says, I love this podcast. Get your hair back. Thank you, Not My Name. Time for Struddy's World. Struddy.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. So Jacob Trouba gets traded. And, it's interesting. People were surprised. And I wasn't surprised. Once they start talking about that it's time to move on, they're going to find a way to move on from them. But there isn't a ton of loyalty in sports. People think there is, and I do get it. But now that's 3 times though the Rangers have traded their captain. You look at McDonough, you look at the little guy that went from there to Tampa, Callahan, and then now Trouba. But even going back further, after they won the Stanley Cup in '94, Mark Messier was there. They didn't re-sign him. He went to Vancouver later on. These things happen. And for Trouba, he moves on. He got to stay with his family for a little bit longer. He's now there in Anaheim, and it won't be a fun place to play. I think that the Ducks are trying to get a little harder to play against. When I watch them play, it looks like it'd be pretty fun to play against them as far as getting hit. With him and Rekko Gudas back there, it's going to be a little heavier. Although I don't know how many passes the forwards will get, but it's an interesting move by them, the Rangers, to move another captain out. But like I said, there is loyalty until there's a better option, and then you're out. And so Trouba's gone, and you're on and moving on to the next thing, guys.
The thing that I found is just the way they're doing it. And we had John Shannon on our show today, and we talked to him about Chris Drury, who was not making a lot of friends in the GM world. If you're trying to attract free agents to come sign in your city, and then you've got star players like Trouba and Kreider have been star players for the Rangers, and they go public with, yet we're trying to move them. You just don't do that. You can do it privately. You can have the conversations with the player, but when you make it public, now that's too much pressure. It's hard for those players to play because the fans know they're getting moved. They know they're getting moved. I don't like the way the New York Rangers are running things right now. I think it's disrespectful to the players. Nothing wrong with trading them. Nothing wrong with having private conversations. But I think and they did it this summer with Barclay Goodrow. So I think that they, now the next free agent that comes available is like, I can go to New York or I can go to Florida. Florida treats their players better, or Edmonton or New York. Oh, they trade Draisaitl and McDavid, talk about how good their ownership is there. I don't think they're talking about that in New York right now.
Yeah. And you wonder too, and I think Friedge was talking a little bit about it on the broadcast tonight, but just the idea that the no move clause, the no trade clause, the fact you can be put on waivers. I know there's a few different ways you can write it into your deal, but you can't help but wonder, like, this is one of those ones, Struds, that maybe has everybody rethinking and revisiting the way these things are worded and structured. And, what's it worth if you can just get thrown on waivers and picked up by any team?
I played with Chris Drury, and that guy's all about winning. That's all he wants. He just wants to win. And I think that he is willing to do whatever it takes to win, even if it means ruffling some feathers, including those of his team's captain. And this summer he made it clear, or maybe from the rumors coming out that Trouba was going to be moved out at some point. So I think he just forced his hand. Hey man, either you're going on waivers or you're getting traded to this team. And that was it. I think it's just cut and dry. That's I love playing with Chris Drury, but I think as a GM, he's there to win. And if he doesn't think that you're any longer there going to be able to help them, he's out the door, man.
Yeah. All right. That was Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. All right, Steve, we'll roll the happy music. Time now for some brownie points. Let's give away some brownie points, shall we? Hammel's Premium Jerky brings this segment to you. Premium Jerky makes an excellent gift for a stocking stuffer. Just in time for the holidays, the stocking stuffer package is here. 4.5 packs, or 4 half-pound packs of jerky for $55. And as always, you get free shipping Alberta-wide. Choose from their 14 flavors and support a great Alberta business. Hop on to albertajerky.com to order yours and enter the code GOTYOURBACK. That'll get you an additional 10% off. I like that. Stocking stuffer. Hammel's Premium Jerky as a stocking stuffer. Half-pound pack. You can get 4 of them for $55. Brownie?
All right, we're going to start. Well, let's start with Turkey. We were there a little earlier. We're going to get 100 points to Brad Marchand and Paul Bissonnette for their hilarious back and forth on TNT. I don't know if you guys have seen the back and forth. Oh, my God, is it funny. And they started talking about going to Turkey, and they're going back and forth. Like, Marchand sitting on the bench having a chirp fest with Paul Bissonnette. I think that's hilarious. So they get 100 points. I got 5 Brownie points for Zach Hyman. He goes goalless in 6 games. He gets a 5-game break due to injury, mental reset, physical reset. He wasn't playing poorly, but the pucks just weren't going in. Talks about going in practice and just scoring in practice, consistently scoring. He comes back. He's got 3 goals in 2 games since he's returned. He looks like the Zach Hyman that we saw all of last year. Good on Zach. I'm minus 108.5 Brownie points to the Nashville Predators. Big spenders in the offseason. They lost again tonight. They're second worst team in the National Hockey League. They have the fewest wins in the National Hockey League. Only the Chicago Blackhawks, who are supposed to be bad, are behind them. $108 million they spent in the offseason, and they are near the bottom of the National Hockey League. I got 935 Brownie points to Stuart Skinner. That was his save percentage tonight. 935. He is 6-2-1 in his last 9 games. 5 of his last 6 games, he's given up 2 goals or less. If Stuart Skinner continues to play like this, the Edmonton Oilers are going to be a very, very hard team to beat. And finally, my last one, I got 23 big Brownie points to the dude at Studio 99 who is wearing the Corey Cross jersey. I love Corey Cross. He's a wonderful guy. I've never seen anyone wearing a Corey Cross jersey. I was excited about it. I'm pretty sure Corey Cross wore number 23 because that was the size of his feet. Biggest feet I've ever seen in my life. But Corey Cross, dude, good on you. You get 23 Brownie points.
Love it. You didn't play with Cross, did you, Struds?
No, I played against him though, and yeah, huge mouth guard. Like his mouth guard was so big, it would have fit. It would have been too big for a horse. Like it was the biggest mouth guard I've ever seen, and there's slobber all over the place. And I'm like, couldn't understand. He'd be chirping, he'd be like, whoa, 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 whoa. I'm like, are there subtitles to this crosser? Like, amazing guy though. I see him all the time. Like he's a great guy. But if you just go back and watch the highlights of the biggest mouth guard you've ever seen, it's huge. It's like
well, we're gonna have to have Corey Cross on the show. Corey Cross coming out. If you're out there, Crosser.
Well, we could. He was actually my son's assistant coach last year. I could get him on the show anytime, no problem. Yeah.
Does he wear the mouth guard on the bench?
He does not. No.
Brownie points brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Brownie, take care, buddy. We'll chat with you in a few days, my friend.
Sounds good, guys. Take care.
Look at the schedule, Brownie. Oh, he's gone.
And he gone. Gone. Okay, we got lots of shows still ahead. We're going to take a break, and we will come back with our HSE Core Blue Liners and take a lap as well. Stay with us.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
All right, welcome back to the show. Time now for HSE Core Blue Liners, brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you're a small to medium-sized business, HSE Core has your back when it comes to health and safety compliance. From creating and managing a tailored health and safety program that meets all legislation and core requirements, HSE Core supports clients' operations every step of the way. Visit www.hsecore.com. That's HSECOR.com. But Struds, perhaps the most important reason why you need to call HSE Core Services, we have not talked about this yet, But the owner of this company regularly absolutely beats the wheels off of Struds on the tennis court.
It's true. He was. And then I missed a week, and then he's missed the last two. So I believe he's dodging me. I'm moving up the rankings. I'm moving up our tennis rankings. I moved from 137th to 129th. And he's in the top 50. So
Tom Lesko, you have been called out.
Call it what it is. You don't want to show up and compete. That's the way it is. Okay, let's get after it. And I love this segment because I get to look at all the guys I really appreciate. And really every night I'm like, hey, Shogger, I want to do this guy because I love this player. And Parayko's a guy that I've always really liked. I got to meet him a couple times, and he seems like a super good guy, hard worker, and all that. But you can't miss him. He's huge. He's absolutely humongous guy. Takes up a lot of space. Very physical. We saw him today just unload on Zach Hyman. Covers a lot of space. Good shot. All those things. But I don't think what people really know about him unless you watch him regularly. So I watched him the other night, Calgary and St. Louis play, and I watched him tonight. Obviously, he's a lot faster than you think for such a big man. He can really skate. He can get up the ice quickly. The other night he had on 3-on-3, he beat Michael Backlund up the ice. And not that Backlund is Connor McDavid, but I mean, that's a forward, a center who should be pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
So Colin Parayko, just a huge guy, good shot. Good. I think he's a really good pairing partner for Broberg. Obviously Broberg rang one off his ankle today. That's a tough one, right, to Connor McDavid. But I think that for it's a nice pairing. They both get around the ice well. They're both big. They both take up space. I think in many ways they've recreated, in some ways, the Bouwmeester Parayko duo that had so much success for them when they won the Cup. What was it, 6 years ago?
Yeah, for sure. Now, his game, Struds, over the last couple of years, I think, maybe it's come and gone a little bit. He gets selected onto Team Canada, and I think of the Blue Liners who were selected, it's very clear that the team wanted to focus on defense in a different way, prioritizing that maybe over offense. What do you make of his selection onto that blue line as it exists? And, how you think he'll function in a tournament with some pretty high-end players? Like, where do you see him potentially fitting on that blue line?
His ceiling isn't as high as a Makar or even as a Bouchard offensively, but his floor is way higher on defensive miscues or the lack thereof of those. I think that they have a predictable player, and Armstrong is his own GM, knows him very well and understands and sees him playing all the time about the choices he makes with and without the puck. And I think that's what they value from him. So I could see him, penalty killing role. He and Josh Morrissey, I mean, that'd be quite the pairing. Because Josh I don't think people understand how good he is offensively. So that'd be a nice pairing for those two. Now, if Morrissey comes on, he puts Sanheim in, that is a monster pairing that, they're coast to coast taking up space. So I do think that Parayko has the inside spot on that third right spot shot. And then I can't believe I'm saying this, but if Morrissey doesn't play, it's Sanheim's spot to take.
The other thing about Sanheim, too, people got to keep in mind, he can flip-flop, I think, back and forth to either side. And that matters, when you can only take the extra guy. That was Core Blue Liners, brought to you by HSE Core Services. Tom Lesko, I hope you listen to this podcast, and I hope we get results back from your guys' next meeting. Because
trash talking.
Yeah, a little tennis trash talk. Okay, let's look at what else is going on around the National Hockey League. That'll be brought to you by Acon. Over 150 years in the construction industry, they've spearheaded some of the most notable projects across Canada. They're one of the country's original leaders in heavy industrial contracting, but they're operating proudly here in Edmonton, and they're always looking for great people. Go to their website, acon.com, if you're looking for work or if someone you know is looking for work. acon.com and click Join Our Team. Always looking for great people, and they got a big list there of all the jobs that they have available in the area, in the city, across the country, quite frankly. So that's acon.com. Join our team. Struds, where are we going to go tonight on our laps?
Officially, Igor Shesterkin signed the contract extension with the Rangers today. Biggest deal in NHL history for a netminder. $11.5 million a year for 8 years. That's $1 million clear of Carey Price, what he got, and then $1.5 million clear of what Bobrovsky got down in Florida. So that's their guy. Chris Drury talked about most nights he's their best player, and how important he is to their group. So they sign him. Interesting. You can't buy it out. It's basically buyout proof because it's all bonus. And then there's they can't even move. They can't even change his stall in the dressing room without his say so. He is not moving anywhere, anytime for the next 8.5 years here. So Shesterkin locked in there, basically took the money from Trouba, put it into Shesterkin's pocket because he's more than doubling his contract for what is currently $5.6 million.
Ray always makes a great point. We get into the debate about goaltenders, and if it makes sense to pay a goaltender that much money, I mean, that is a huge chunk of change, right? And I look at this guy's games played, 55, 58, 53. I mean, you're paying a guy that many sheets to sit under a ball cap 35 games a year, or 25 to 30 games a year, give or take. Struds, that's a lot of money tied up sitting on your bench. I know in the playoffs they play more, and that's really when they make their money. But Ray's point on paying goaltenders huge dollars is they don't play every game.
Okay, let me chime in on Ray Ferraro. He thinks the only people who should get paid are the people that score goals. That's a fact. That is absolute fact. He doesn't appreciate goalies or D. I don't think he even recognizes that some people are in their own zone because of those guys cheating all the time. Yeah, you can send that to Ray as well.
This.
Let Ray
I'm going to play this on the next Ray and Dregs Hockey podcast, and I'm going to let Ray defend himself.
Please do. He'll say, "Girl, it's true." His favorite artist, Milli Vanilli. So this is the fact. Wow. He's a really good goalie, but that is a big number. That is a really, really big number to swallow. And you got to get a backup, but I guess their backup is going to be making minimum, right? They'll try to get a veteran like they have with Johnny Quick right now. So yeah, it is. I mean, it worked out in Florida. They got it done in Florida because Bobrovsky's $10 million, right? And if you look at private percentage of the cap, it won't be the same as when Bobrovsky signed that a few years ago.
The counter argument to that, really quick, the counter argument is when they do play, they play the entire 60 minutes, as opposed to the other high-paid guys that might play all the games, but they're only out there for 22 for a third of the game. So that's the counterpoint to that. Go ahead, buddy.
And lastly, Elliot Freeman talked today about JT Miller, and there's all this stuff. Is JT Miller going to get traded? Did he leave because it was he and Tocchet getting in a battle? Well, according to Friedman, he's saying that, how do you put it? The personal time or leave of absence was not related to a trade request or trade pending by the Vancouver Canucks, and that there is a quote unquote plan for JT Miller to return to the team and resume playing for the group.
Okay. I mean, he is so critical to that group, man. We saw him at the playoffs. He is, you said he was their best player, did you not?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. And that's over Quinn
Hughes. And that's
on
a team with Quinn Hughes.
Yeah. Yeah. And so you hear all these, I don't know if it's true, but you hear these things that he's a difficult teammate. I get it. I mean, sometimes teammates can be difficult, but he's such an important part. He drags so many people into the fight. He brings it every night. So they're definitely better with him. I'm not sure how you can not have him on your team.
Yeah. All right. That was Taking a Lap, brought to you by Acon, of course. Before we get to Ask Us Anything, Struds, we want to take a rip around the league, see what else was going on. So let's get to our scoreboard, brought to you by Canadian Club in honor of the founding year of the CC Distillery, 1858. Their 18-year-old high proof comes in at 58%. Oh, it is smooth as can be, though. You'd never know it. The highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date, full-bodied, spicy vanilla, rich oak, and a butterscotch finish that is oh so smooth. Struds, what else was going on this Saturday night, buddy?
So a lot of games, but a weird schedule. There weren't a lot of teams that impacted the Oilers. No Flames game, no Canucks game, no Vegas Golden Knights game. But there were some ones that did matter. The Kings win 4-1 over the Wild. And I always look at the stats, and Joel Edmondson had 7 shots and 9 attempts in 23 minutes. I was like,
wow.
I had to double check. That's what I said. I mean, that's
all
a ton.
over it.
9 attempts in 23 minutes. Like that, as a D-man, I love it. Good for him. So the Kings are rolling, by the way. 4-1, they win. The Avs beat the Wings 2-1. That's the Wings' 5th loss in a row. 5th loss in a row for a team that's supposed to be taking a step forward. I wonder how tense things are getting around that dressing room right now. And then Utah beat the Sabres today 5-2. Sabres' 6th loss in the row. And after the game, Lindy Ruff was kind of critical of their group. Kevin Adams, GM that was brought in with very little experience as an actual manager, was just talking about how it's kind of a tough place to bring free agents into. It sounds like things are a little bit uncomfortable in those 2 spots. When you're losing and things aren't going well, there's going to be some stress.
No kidding. Yeah, the pressure's definitely ratcheting it up, and that Buffalo situation for sure. A team that some nice blue liners there, buddy. Like they can be taking a step here anytime. Like anytime they can take a step, but just hasn't been able to happen.
You think they would be able to, right? And then you look at Jack Eichel, the way he's thriving, and more importantly, shocker, healthy after his operation.
Yeah, they botched that one so bad.
Oh man,
badly with a franchise player.
I know. Center. I know.
They got stubborn and stupid about it, and now they're still suffering from that.
A rookie GM
was
that a rookie GM going through it, right? A guy that didn't have the experience. So
it's getting hot. That was our scoreboard brought to you by Canadian Club. All right, Steve, we'll hop on in here, buddy. We got a great crowd on the live show tonight, and we love it. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's get to Ask Us Anything. Mortgages by Maria brings us Ask Us Anything. Whether you're looking to lower your monthly payments, shorten your loan term, or just want to understand your options, Maria Gallus with Maximum Mortgages has you covered. With the Bank of Canada lowering rates, you could save thousands on your mortgage. So if you're renewing, refinancing, purchasing a new home or investment property, contact Maria. mortgagesbymaria.ca. All right, Steve-O, how's the mood tonight? Fans are probably loving the sweet revenge they feel they got on Broberg and Holloway.
Sweet revenge, indeed, shocker.
Should we wrap up the poll?
Let's wrap up the poll, and oh my goodness, my OCD is just, So every night we come up with a poll. Either Zuby comes up with it, I come up with it. Often Schauger will say, here's what I'd like for a poll. Tonight we sort of put our heads together right before the show and said, these I think are 3 good answers to this question. Sometimes there's a throwaway in there a little bit because you're given a 4th option. We went with 3. And the reason I'm giving this, I'm prefacing this so strongly is because we gave 3 answers and we're almost dead even with the answers. It just brings me so much joy. The question tonight, which turnaround has been the most impactful? Coming in at 33% was Struddy's penalty kill. Also coming in at 33% was Brownie's Skinner's game. And coming in at 32%, which probably should have been 33%, is Nurse's game. So essentially dead even poll. So essentially, fans just happy about all aspects tonight.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, that means it was a decent question. So, and real solid number of votes on that one as well. Love it. What else are the people saying, buddy?
Okay, so yeah, like you said, a really joyous mood on the poll or on the chat tonight. Just a lot of stuff that made me laugh. Ronnie Oceanfront, always with the Weiss Johnson ideas, and his was get your ducks in a row with Weiss Johnson, and that's ducks spelled D-U-C-T-S. What a great slogan for them. And then Emma Terry chimed in and said, you can throw in a Donald Duck in that ad if he can learn how to say Weiss Johnson in duck language. That's a great ad for Weiss Johnson. That's a freebie. By the way, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it is a freebie. By the way, Struds, my mom, traveling back from Toronto today, she texted me. She said she was listening to the show, and she thought my Donald Duck was awesome. So FYI, Donna approved, bud.
My mom told me I never played a bad game. I love you, Donna, but we'll have a chalk next time we see each other.
Don't ever talk to my mother, Struts. Go ahead, Steve.
We got to get to this because a lot of comments on the stream about this, and that's Struddy's Pepsi. So he said, ask us anything. Can you ask Struddy if the late night Pepsi is better than the Hotel Sun chips? Obviously giving a lot of chirps. So yeah, what do you got, Struddy?
Guys, I'm not going to lie. I've had a really long day. I woke up this morning for some reason at 4 a.m. I was on the ice for 3 hours and helped coach 2 hockey games. Watched another game tonight, and then I was dragging. So I just found this random Pepsi, and I drank. I don't drink coffee, so I had to get myself fired up. So that's what got me through the show. So the late night Pepsi is not my normal go-to at all, but I needed something. I didn't have a pack of darts hanging around, so the Pepsi it was.
All right. We got a couple people coming from other parts of the world coming in on the stream. So we have Nick Conniff saying he's from Wellington, New Zealand, and he appreciates the podcast because it helps him keep up with everything. And then we've got Aussie. Yeah, we've got Aussie Oiler as well coming in, and he's asking what the protocol is for New Year's. He says, should I call my cousins in Canada at midnight, his time, or should they call him at midnight? What's the protocol there, Struddy? It's the hard-hitting question.
I'll call you down under from my friend down under.
I walked right in. I walked right into that. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
See, my Donald Duck is not offensive. You're Australian. It's offensive to people that are from there. We have had people offended.
They like it. Those guys will like that accent.
Yeah. Those guys will like it.
Sounds like I'm from a Wellington suburb with that accent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, we love our international listeners, and thank you for joining us on the live stream. I think it is their job to text you since you experience it first.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Pod Golzin says, Jeff Skinner, finding a home on that third line. Chance for that line to have a scoring identity, which we haven't had in the McDavid era. So, yeah, just thoughts on Jeff Skinner finding more of a permanent home on that line. Shogger.
Yeah, I don't know if they loved his game tonight. I feel like he, I don't know if he got skipped over a few times there at a certain point. I don't know where he ended up for ice time tonight. His game is still a little up and down, still a little bit all over the place. He was 12-04 tonight on a third line. So he's had some good nights, but Struds overall, I think, I don't know, man. He's having a hard time winning over the decision makers.
He is. He had that one really nice move where he pulled it off the wall and dragged it to the middle and, almost had it, just missed the net. A pretty tough angle, especially as a lefty there to make that shot. I think it's moving in the right direction for him. I worry when everyone gets back and gets healthy, what does his ice time look like? And I know Evander Kane's, still time away, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tight, but they need him. Like you Stanley Cup winning teams have guys in their third and fourth line that can score. Although I don't think he was signed to be, a 7 through 12 forward.
We have a request from Neil Garrity for an Australian Donald Duck performance. If I were able to form words, I would bless you all with that. But until I can form words, I won't try and add an accent in as well.
That's a shame. Okay, so Ben Dofer saying Kapanen's much better with 29 and 92. Can you really put Arvidsson back on this line when he's healthy? What do you think, Struds?
100%. I don't even doubt it. I don't even think twice about it. Kapanen had a couple of nice chances today, but this guy was picked up on waivers, and Arvidsson's you signed for 2 years. I think that he isn't as fast as Kapanen, but I think he's better at retrieving pucks, and I'd like to think he can tap more pucks in around the net than he will. He being Kapanen.
Yeah. So I liked a couple of his shifts tonight. Struds, I thought he had a lot of jump, and I thought he showed really nice hands in the offensive zone in traffic a few times. And I think a couple of times he made some really heady plays. I liked his game tonight. There was some early frustration, not getting the puck to Draisaitl and such, but I thought he really came around. The issue I have is that if you are going to be an extra forward on this team, you have to be a center. You have to be. Because Derek Ryan is the one that's going to need spelling off here
without question, and they do not have enough options at center ice unless they want to play Nugent Hopkins there as well. So long term, when they're healthy, their extra forward has to be a center.
Okay, CK Pond is looking ahead, and I know this is looking a bit far ahead, but based on the goalie market today, what does Stu Skinner's price tag look like? His contract is coming due.
That's tough. Like, let's give it a little bit of time. I mean, we've just seen a few guys, do deals that have, probably that have pushed it further. They're a little further along in their careers and performance-wise than Skinner. So I almost hesitate to really dive into this just yet because we need to see what his season numbers look like. We need to see what his playoff performance looks like. But safe to say it'll be north of what Jack Campbell had signed for. But, I mean, I think we got to let the jury come in with some stats here, Struds.
Well, they have a year and a half to figure this out. I mean, you look at that $8.5 million to Allmark Swayman, isn't that their number? Like, it's got to be somewhere between 5 and 8.5.
Yeah, it's going to be on. There's too much that needs to be determined between here and there. So fair question, and I think that's a fair range you put it at, Struds. A little too early to try and dial that in a little bit further. A few more there, Steve.
Okay, so some stranger simply says, "Poor Connor Brown." So what if you score a goal like that doesn't count, how does it feel?
Well, it's a letdown. I mean, I had one waved off one time where I think it went off my foot, and and then they waved it off. I'm like, come on, man! Like, it's not Wayne Gretzky over here. Got 900 goals. Just give me this one. So it's a downer, especially for a guy that doesn't score a ton. And I think that goal should have counted. The whistle shouldn't have been blown, and then the play should have been allowed to continue.
Yeah, tough call. Stuff happens. Move on.
Yep.
Whatever. It is what it is.
All right. Well, Squishy for Breakfast says the whole team was playing for it tonight. Shagar and I were texting during the game, and I was coming to him with the voice of a fan, and he was coming back to me with the voice of a responsible reporter. How much does a game like this actually come into the players' minds? Do they maybe push themselves a little bit more? Do they want the win more than they normally would?
Do you mean the fact that you got Broberg and Holloway over on the other side, and there's a little extra juice in the game for that? Yeah, I mean, I think you want to play those guys hard, Struds. You don't want to give them a lot. I don't think the 2 points is any more valuable or any more meaningful. But certainly, you probably want to keep those guys off the board if you can.
Yeah, for sure. And, nice goal by Holloway. How he's got separation there in front of the net like that. He is a good player. But, yeah, I don't know. It's more like I think that they understand that, it's a big win tonight, just knowing that tomorrow's a day off. And not that they're going to go crazy. But, you need to get this just 2 points. And then because who is it? Tuesday is Tampa, I think, right? Not an easy game, so you want to be ready for that game and try to get 2 points there. They want to bank a lot of points or as many points as possible on this fairly significant home chunk of games in December.
Yeah.
All right, last one, buddy.
Okay, well, let's just end it with Boba Fett, who says, I know we talked a lot about Nurse already, but Nurse is bona fide, always has been, undervalued by a segment of fan base due to his salary. Just, thoughts on his value right now to the team, Struds.
Well, he's anchoring that second pairing, and I'll steal Brownie's world again. No, word, not world. He's keeping it simple, and that doesn't mean not skilled. It means that not playing outside yourself, not trying to do too much, just doing what you need to do to help the team. And if everyone does their own job, it usually works out pretty well. So Darnell is really sticking to that, simple plays, being physical, and his game is pretty low event, in his own end, which I think is very, very important.
Yeah, you would have been fair to criticize Nurse for a lot of the last season and a half, quite frankly, and never even have to bring up his salary. Because I think, never mind the money, I think people know what this player is capable of, Struds. We know what he can do when he's playing well and how much that can impact the team in a positive way. So throw the money out the window, sure, whatever. But just strictly on what he's capable of and what he's brought, I think criticism has been fair, but it's coming around. His game is excellent right now, and it's swinging things huge for the team right now. And you can tell he's playing at ease with some more confidence.
and he's enjoying himself out there, and it has been a big break for the Oilers for him to get a little bit more back to the Darnell Nurse that we saw a few seasons ago. That was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Mortgages by Maria. All right, let's wrap up the show with our Gallery Dental play of the day. From air polisher cleanings to advanced treatments, Gallery Dental offers a full range of services designed to keep your smile healthy. Their experienced team provides personalized care with the latest technology to make sure you get the best treatment possible. Contact GalleryDentalYEG.com. Did we have something decided on, Struds, or are you pulling one here?
No, I'm just going to go Tom Wilson. Taking
Yes.
He's going to the front of the net, takes a shot off the side of the cheek, and his face swelled up like Quasimodo. And it's just this huge thing on the side.
Do you have the picture, Steve? I got it here. If you
No, I don't. But
That's
yeah,
okay, I got it
so
there. Can you
good.
see that?
Oh, man.
It's even
That's
better
a lot
when
of
when it's in
pinecone.
motion. Like, oh man.
Yeah. Look at this. I can't believe something. How is nothing broken in there? I don't know if I was trying to see if they said something was broken, but that is crazy. And he scored 2 goals as well. Like, that's pure grit. That is grit in every form right there.
Love it. That was our play of the day, brought to you by Gallery Dental. Day off for the Oilers tomorrow, Struds. Day off for the pod as well. What do you got planned for your Sunday, my friend?
I am coaching a hockey game at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Oh, you're going to need more Pepsi.
Yeah, I'm just going to hook up an IV.
Right on, buddy. Okay, well, thanks for doing this. We're going to regroup. We'll do a pod. Oilers don't play again. Where's my schedule? What do they got? Tampa on Tuesday. So we're going to drop a pod Monday, and then we'll do a podcast post-game Tuesday as well. So enjoy tomorrow, guys. Great job tonight. Thanks, Struds. Good job, Steve.
Likewise, guys. Good times.
Fun one.
Gomez says, great job, Steve. Yes, we agree. Davin says, thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us on the live stream tonight, or for your downloads if you're listening to us in podcast form or watching us after the fact on YouTube. We really appreciate you being along for the ride. We're having lots of fun. Look forward to doing it again in a couple of days. Thanks to Play Alberta, our title sponsor. Talk to you soon.